Hey, what's going on, everyone? Got another video for you. Now, today's video is, does truth exist? And if your answer to that question is no, my next question is that true? And on what standard and how can you prove it? See, we live in a world where lies, deceptions, and misinformation has replaced objective um, absolutes, realities. That's just the world we live in. You know, see, without truth, nothing is reliable. Nothing. But everything is just subjective, emotional preference and perception. And that changes from, many different variables, situations, agendas, so many things. True science, not pseudoscience, not theories, not philosophy, unproven ideology, but true science that is based on an observation that can be tested, repeated, and proved in a viable, logical scientific method where a hypothesis is drawn and then proven. True science can't even exist without truth because there are no standards to define what we see. There are no objective definitions for what things are called. See, here's the thing. 10 people can see things 10 different ways. And without truth, who is to say who is reliable and based on what standard can things be verified to be true? See, in this world of no truth, authority determines what is acceptable. And let's talk about authority. What do we know about authority? Well, in this world, we say, most authority is acquired through deception, corruption, greed, violence, selfishness. If that's how authority is acquired, then all information is molded to fit an agenda and not because it's been proven. You understand, to prove something, a reliable standard of truth has to be established as a foundation and starting point. I'll give you an example. See, in so-called pseudoscience, the scientific community has used the Big Bang Theory as a truth claim. Now, there's no proof to corroborate the Big Bang Theory that is logical, testable, repeatable, based on any real observation through any viable, logical, scientific method. They can't tell you why. They give you hypotheses and theories that none of it makes sense, but they can't tell you why. Their so-called Big Bang happened. They can't describe it how, where it came from. They have so many conflicting theories. Oh, it always existed. But how can you prove that? Okay, then if it always existed, what made it explode at that specific time? They have no answer. So they start creating and building on a lie. And out of this lie, basically had the agenda of this lie was basically to create a godless world, to a world built in the image of man and not our creator. And the issue with that world is that man can create a world where people are controlled by their vices, by their evils, by their human natures to be exploited, manipulated, and controlled. And that's exactly what we see now. Media, entertainment, all distractions, all indoctrinations, all controlling how people are from very young ages. This is just what we know. Like I said, to prove something is reliable, the truth has to be established as a foundation and a starting point. So they had to get rid of God. They had to take away your value, tell you that you're an accident, that you're random, that that what we call creation is causeless. It has no purpose, accidental, And so therefore the value we attribute to our lives becomes meaningless. And out of that, well, you can say, well, what is the value of life if the origin was meaningless, causeless, accidental? And so now we can justify why we need to kill all kinds of human life in certain situations, and we can justify all these things based on a lie. Because if we really knew the true value, and intrinsically we all attribute infinite value to ourselves for the most part when we're in a logical, functional way, because everybody wants to survive. Everybody will specifically fight to have the things they need to survive. No one's comfortable dying. Even people who happen to take their own lives, they do so under intense grief, pain, desperation, and despair. And usually out of the sense of lack of purpose, lack of meaning, for the lack of truth of why they're here. Think about that. The world has indoctrinated people to believe that they are meaningless. Your starting point is meaningless, and your ending point is meaningless. So what is the value of what happens in between? And see, people who are faithless, people who attribute their life as meaningless, they have no answer, and therefore they have no response to the things that happen in their lives. See, if all is preference and opinion, then no truth claims can be made about anything. And what something is called, how things function, how someone treated, can't be declared as right or wrong, but only based on what benefits those in authority. And those in authority can acquire that. The people in authority basically acquire the things they need through manipulation of information and exploiting the needs, desires, and nature of people. That's exactly what's happening now. A world of total chaos. Don't believe in genders. Don't believe that life is life, and just so many ridiculous things that are creating a very insane world in which we live now. Even for social justice, which will never be realized. Because in order for there to be a sense of justice, there has to be a consensus on what is true to determine what is right or wrong. Now, those in authority, all they use is misinformation, lies, deceptions to control people. But guess what? They do make true claims to establish their agendas. True claims based on lies, just for agendas, to benefit their self-interest, to control and manipulate people. So instead of people seeing the hypocrisy many are programmed to accept, and many are too blinded by their own ignorance and wicked nature to wake up from, to actually see the wicked agendas of this world that seek to feed our evils and our nature and exploit us by manipulation and control. It's almost it's a self-induced delusion. See, when you reject the truth, you accept the lie. And when you accept the lie, you become blind to why you're suffering, to why you will never find peace. Because you reject the truth that would expose it. Just like many people think they're good and reject all the evidence in their lives that no, we're really not good. We're really not. We're very selfish. All the evil and the worst exists because we do it. Many people will say, well, why does God allow evil? And I would simply say, well, because he allows you. Free will. And free will is the evidence of life. Free choice. If you didn't know you were making your own choices, you wouldn't even know you were alive. And for God to get rid of all evil, he will have to get rid of all of us who have the potential to do evil. Think about it. Just think about that. See, also a godless, random, meaningless, atheistic, causeless, accidental world offers no security in anything, no ultimate purpose in nothing. All it does is breeds depression, desperation, an unhealthy dependence on things, and flawed, broken people, by to which the world offers no rhyme or reason for why evil does exist in their life, because everything is just an accident. See, and it's really that those vices, those situations that cause people to do evil, to create discrimination and unjust laws out of fear, out of depression, out of the acquisition of materials and wealth is why people oppress people, why people lie and build corrupt systems. They do that because they're broken. They're desperate. They have no purpose other than being defined by things. And out of the void of this comes psychotropic drugs, antidepressants, and other pharmaceuticals to just numb the human senses, to prevent you from critically thinking, from you to see the truth that would set you free from the corruption and evils of this world, which seeks to destroy you, but really manipulate you and control you first, so that you will never persevere. This world doesn't want you to be to persevere, but to just be locked into whatever construct or ideology or unproven subjective philosophy this world wants to push at the moment to finalize its ultimate agenda, which is to devalue human life and make merchandise of people so that the few can exploit, manipulate, and control the many. And it's even deeper than that. See, if you don't believe that you have a soul, that you have something infinitely valuable, then you won't acquire the infinitely valuable purpose to which life offers. If you believe you're an animal, then your value of life goes down. Then you can justify many things that are just not good. So, this whole thing about truth needs to be really explored by many people, because for people to believe that there is no truth, but then they complain, but then they determine and delegate right and wrong, and I can say, well, how can you do that? Why is your version of right and wrong acceptable? Why should I care about it if there is no truth? And see, this has many problems, that no one lives in a world like there's no truth. No one just lives in that world. We can say things, but we're lying to ourselves. No one actually lives like there's no truth. No one actually lives like that gender doesn't exist. No one actually lives like everybody. We complain too much. We draw expectations too much. We examine and use a certain logic to the world to do things. And if none of that had any truth to be right, then we wouldn't even use it. It's like saying, well, fire can burn you, but it won't burn me. But if everybody touches it, they get burned. So it doesn't matter what you believe. What matters is what reality dictates and how you live. Everybody lives like fire burns you. Anybody can say anything. And that's the problem with this world. We've created a platform, a society where emotion and words are just accepted without any evidence to support it. But just being emotional is somehow attributed to being right. And we're all suffering because of it. So I just wanted to make this little short video. Peace out.